Hey everybody, and welcome to Don't Copy That Floppy. I'm your host Lex.
And I'm your other host, Dan. And we are your weekly video game news podcast coming to you live on Chipit Radio at chipit.net, as well as Twitch, which is our new thing. We got
our
it
new
working.
thing.
The audio's not all screwy this time. We're good.
It is.
Audio's not screwy at all.
It's not screwy at all. We're positive. It is Friday, September 9th. We're going to talk about all sorts of cool video game news from the last week for the next hour with you. Dan, what are some of the stories that we've got?
We got to follow up on a Kickstarter that you may have seen the title of already because I had it up on our
if you're watching
window
that
here.
Twitch stream, then you cheated.
You cheated. You saw it already. It's a big spoiler. We have a little bit of Pokemon news. We have a whole bunch of news about Sony and the new PS4 Neo, which has its official name now.
Oh, yeah.
And its official name is lame.
I mean, is it as lame as Neo, though?
Neo's way better.
I don't know.
It's at least different.
Hmm.
So we have that. We have a couple other little tidbits as well. And then we'll finish off with a roundup of games that have just come out and are coming out in the near future, as well as... Not as well as. We are also chatting. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah,
News
so
and everything else on the Chipit website you can chat, or you can chat with us on Twitch.
We're going to check Twitch occasionally. It's kind of like between checking the stories, checking the Chipit chat, and trying to check the Twitch chat. It's a lot to keep track of.
So we'll pop in once in a while. Do you want to just get right into it?
Yeah.
Or should we plug our other social media?
Oh, we should plug our other. We have so much.
And we should also say the date. Did you say the date already?
Yes, I said the date.
Oh my god, I can never hear you say it.
It's because I've made it so seamless. Now I don't trip over it
You're such a
anymore.
master. A master of your craft. Flawless intro.
So
as
we're
always.
we're on a whole six-fingered fist of social media. We used to, for context, we used to say fist of social media because we had 5 things.
Carrie Elves.
But
no, the other guy, the other actor in Princess Bride. I can't remember the guy who played.
Oh
him.
yes, we know.
He's
all know.
after us.
We all know who we're talking about. Okay.
Not the Dread Pirate Roberts.
But no. So we're on all sorts of things, such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, iTunes, Steam, and Twitch.
Twitch.
Probably knew.
We also have a Patreon.
And a Patreon. The Patreon is the most important because it involves you giving us money.
I'm going to give a shout out right now.
Oh my god.
Patreon.
We got a new patron.
We got a new patron. Holla. Did we ever give a shout out to Andrew?
Well, we said that we gave a shout out to Harambe.
We did. We gave a shout out to her.
Because that's who's donating
that counts. The spirit is the same.
So Harambe is sending us money from heaven.
Harambe sent us money from heaven, and we thanked him. But this week's shout out is to my good friend Danny, my good ex-roommate from my college days. Best roommate I ever had. Stand-up guy, very nice, very handsome.
So, oh my god, I met him for the first time
Just
like
talk,
a
it's
couple
actually
weeks
the second
ago.
time. You just don't remember the
I
first
just don't
time.
remember. Somehow I did. Maybe it's because his hair was longer the first time, so he was so handsome that
It was blinding.
That like. It's like those things when you have a traumatic event and your brain blocks it out. It's like he was so handsome.
You have like lost time.
Yeah, he was so handsome that my brain blocked it out because I couldn't handle remembering it. But no, super handsome and great at b-ball.
Yeah,
as
really
I saw.
Also, as I said, terrific roommate. And yes, we were Dan and Danny as roommates, which is like, I mean, it's adorable.
Adorable.
But he gave us some money. Thanks so much, man. Really appreciate it. And I hope you enjoy the show. I don't know how much he listens to it. Maybe he will now that he's invested.
Now that he's... I mean, I would.
I better nag him about it and be like, you give us money, you better listen.
That's...
Although I don't actually care.
Don't do that, because then he might realize, oh man, I don't listen to this. Why am I giving them money? And
or then he'll listen to it and be like, oh, I'm funding this.
Throws his computer through a wall.
Yeah, Okay. Now that that's done.
So what is this? We got Kickstarter news.
We got Kickstarter news. Look at it. We zoomed it in on Polygon from today.
September 9th.
September
oh my
9th.
God. We might have to zoom in every individual page. That's going to be annoying, but hopefully not.
Oh,
no.
At least if it's on the same website, it stays.
Good.
So we were good.
Okay.
So as you can see, Koji Igarashi's Bloodstained Ritual of the Night,
Oh.
has been delayed until 2018. This
No.
was... I know.
Stop. No! This can't happen!
Look at him drawn as Dracula.
That is really great art
It's
of
really
him as
great.
Dracula.
What is a man? A miserable pile of game delays. Igarashi of not Metroid, Castlevania fame, had this Metroidvania-style game funded on Kickstarter. Originally, it was set to be released in March 2017, but it has been pushed back, possibly over a year, to the first half of 2018. On the YouTube channel, Igarashi stated, "Things have been progressing in development for Bloodstained, but between our current production setup and release deadline, I've realized that at this rate, the game may not end up meeting my quality standards." He wants to keep the game fully on track for how he envisions it, which is admirable. It's a huge delay, but many other Kickstarter games have gotten huge delays. Shovel Knight got pushed back like crazy. And then it was quite a while for its first expansion, which was like a stretch goal to come out. And the second one still hasn't come out. There's still 2 more due out.
Geez, really? I didn't know that.
Shantae, Half Genie Hero, has also seen an absurd amount of delays.
That is a fantastic name for a game.
Isn't it great?
Oh, it's so good.
The game looks really good, too. I'm excited for it.
But no, I think it seems like... Because we've reported on a lot of Kickstarter games.
Yeah.
And one of the common denominators for them seems to be delays. I mean,
absolutely.
AAA games get delayed all the time too, but
yeah.
I think Kickstarter games almost always get delayed.
With the smaller funding, smaller teams, the way the funding shakes down sometimes, like unexpected problems, the fact that they also need to organize all these backer rewards and get those out to the thousands of people who backed them. It adds this other layer to it, which as an indie studio especially, is somewhat daunting, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you do... It's getting all those stretch goals, I feel like, is kind of a curse, a blessing and a curse as well. Because, yeah, your game gets... Like, the game gets to have a lot added to it. It's really cool. Because the fans get more, and you get to make more, and people enjoy it. But at the same time, it is adding a lot more work onto your plate, even though you are getting more money. And given that this game hit $5.5 million from backers, it hit, like, all of its stretch goals, I'm pretty sure. And if you want to make sure all those stretch goals meet the quality of the main game and everything is how you want it to be and how the fans want it to be, delays are going to end up being inevitable. Because game design is just one of those businesses.
Just one of those businesses.
There's nothing else you can say.
But you know, because of that, and because they're almost always all delayed, don't think that's going to be a mark against the quality or
if anything,
or going
it's
to
be
make
sure the game is better.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like there is no data to support the idea that because a Kickstarter funded game gets delayed that it's going to be any worse.
Right. Unless you're Mighty Number
9. Or Yogg's Adventures.
Or Yogg's Adventures. Although Mighty Number 9 came out fine. It's fine.
It's
like,
playable.
It's a fine game.
Yes.
It's not very interesting.
No. Its fire effects are horrible trash.
I never saw any fire in those videos.
Remember the commercial?
There's a lot of pizza in the background.
Oh, yeah, no, there was a lot of... Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting confused.
I don't recall seeing any fire.
Sorry, I just saw a lot of pizza.
I was like, that's strange. That's one of, like, the Robot Masters? Some kind of pizza mech?
That would be great. That'd make that game a lot better.
There's a JRPG where you fight a pizza machine.
Amazing.
It's not amazing. It's terrible. It's a game called Enchanted Arms. It's a god-awful dub. But there's an amazing part where it's set in a world of magic, and all these machines that do things for people are called golems. And at one point, the golems go berserk, and you have to fight a pizza golem, which is a vending machine that shoots pizzas. And it talks. It's like, fresh, hot pizza. Because it's all glitching out.
Sounds like a Ninja Turtles
amazing
level
game.
from one of their games.
So yeah. Shame about Bloodstained. It'll still come out, though, and I bet it'll still be great. So...
Just gotta wait.
PAX West happened last week, and we talked about how we were going to talk about it this week.
And then we found some stories, but not very many, because there weren't really any announcements out of PAX. It was pretty much just like, you could go there and play these games.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was about,
As a video game journalist, I was sorely disappointed. I'm sure if I had been there, I wouldn't have cared, but come on.
They showed 6 minutes of Cuphead gameplay, though. and they showed off some bosses, and they showed off cooperative mode.
Talking about a game that's never gonna come out.
Cuphead has still not even been given a release date.
It hasn't, and it's been talked about at E3 for like the last 3 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
2 years.
Oh, come on.
Nearly 2 years.
Nearly 2 years.
It feels like longer than that, though, doesn't
No,
it?
I thought we were doing... Because I thought during our coverage of the last E3, they talked about Cuphead, and then it prompted me to go back and look for things. I think they... I don't know. I feel like this article can't be wrong, but at the same time, I thought that I heard, like, they like, teased it, like, earlier than that. But no, it's been in development like forever.
Yep.
And it's weird because it still doesn't have a release date, but it's a freaking like it's an indie title, and I get that. Oh yeah, play that video.
Yeah, way to go. Now people can watch.
Yeah. And I get that like it's an indie title, but at the same time, when it's been at E3, it's gotten all of this like support from Microsoft, or is it Sony who's been supporting them? Now I'm forgetting.
Sony or
okay.
Microsoft.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So
Xbone and PC.
So you'd think that if it was a question of them being like, oh, we need a little more money to get through production, that Microsoft would be like, oh, well, we got money because we're Microsoft.
And I'm not so sure that it's like a budget issue, so much as like making these animations takes a while.
I believe it.
The sprite work in this game is like really, really impressive. I'm assuming they're sprites. But like, I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe
it's like what's that game called? Dragon's Lair, and it's just like animations that
maybe they're actually animated everything like by hand.
I don't like. It looks like it could be, but I don't think it is.
I got no idea.
I don't know.
Real cool game though.
Oh man, it looks so cool.
Botanic Panic.
Look at that world map.
It's great.
That's actually interesting because we haven't seen.
Yeah, look at this guy. Look at him. He talks like a Betty Boop.
Pig with an eye patch and a mustache.
And everything bouncing, always bouncing.
I'm worried he might tie someone to a train track later in this game.
That better happen at some point in this game.
Oh, someone's definitely getting tied to a train track.
Amazing.
For those who don't know what Cuphead is and they're really confused by what we've been saying, it looks like a 1920s cartoon, and it is a shmup.
Yeah. That's great.
Oh my god, it looks so good. So yeah, let's hope that will someday get a release date. But it's cool that they showed more gameplay, so clearly stuff is being made. They're moving along.
Yeah, so very cool. We had a little bit of Pokemon news.
Oh my god, look at that Pokemon. That's crazy.
Look at that. It's Professor Oak. So
oh my god, Hawaiian Professor Oak.
Pokemon Sun and Moon have been shaping up, as it says in this article from Polygon on September 8th, to be really cool. And having a lot of features that were not in any of their Pokemon games, like a big step forward in pretty much every way. But there's also a lot of nostalgia going on, because we have the Alola form Pokemon, as well as now Professor Oak, Hawaii version. This is his cousin.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, is it supposed to be the same guy and he just got a tan?
It's his chilled out cousin, Samson Oak. Because regular Professor Oak is named Samuel Oak. So this is Samson Oak. That's about all there is to this part of the story.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It's weird. It's a little weird.
A little dumb.
And he studies the Alola form Pokemon of like the Gen 1 Pokemon. So he's just like Oak. But anyway, the more interesting news are some of the new Pokemon announcements, including this Freakazoid.
Oh my god.
So his name is Type::Null. And he's like a horrific man-made chimera.
He is a chimera. That's a good way to describe him.
Yeah. I think he's pretty cool. It's an interesting idea because he's like totally like constructed by humans to be like a weapon against powerful like legendary Pokemon, which is pretty neat. He's also like 6'3".
Oh.
Which is crazy.
Well.
Like he's really big and scary.
I thought he was a lot smaller than that.
Oh,
I like that he's got a weird helmet type thing.
Yeah. And like all this like cobbled together parts from like different creatures. Then we have Jang Mo-O.
Oh.
Who's a little dragon guy.
Yeah, kind of. I would be interested to see what the evolved forms look like.
I'm getting the vibe that he's our like 3-stage dragon evolution for this game. Like this is the first form.
I hope that because his face looks very
kind kind of chill.
Or I actually get like a snooty vibe from it.
A little bit, yeah.
So I would love it if like
a little bit stuck up.
Yeah, the bigger he gets, the
very
more
ornate.
Yeah, he gets really ornate, and like he gets even more snooty with
that'd be
each
good.
evolution.
I like that. All of this stuff says it spends all its time training so they can conquer all of its enemies.
Oh,
It's a very dedicated Pokemon.
okay.
Yeah. Then we have Alolan Raticate.
Oh my god, that Raticate
as a follow-up to the Rattata from last week.
It ate too much.
He ate too much. He's big and fat.
Those cheeks.
I actually like him more than regular Raticate. I think he's cool. So yeah, he like sneaks around and steals high-class ingredients. Or his Rattatas steal them for him, and then he eats all of them.
Ew.
It's so good. He just sits on his ass. All the Rattata bring him food. And then we got this guy.
Oh, this jellyfish.
UB01.
Okay.
UB01 is the first in what could be a long line of new things that are called Ultra Beasts. And they're big, powerful creatures that the researchers in the game are like, I don't know if they're Pokemon. If they're not Pokemon, what are they? I don't know. That seems to be all we know. And they showed off this weird, like, jellyfish-looking one. So I'm assuming it's going to be a major plot point of, like, the game's story.
Maybe it'll be revealed that they're aliens.
Maybe. But there's already Pokemon that are aliens.
Oh, you're right. They've already thought of that.
Questions, what is the definition of a Pokemon? Because there's also a Pokemon that's literally God.
Oh, that's true.
So what makes these things so different? And he's UB01, so we'll probably see at least one more of these things in the game. Moving away from Pokemon, we got a whole bunch of Sony news.
Oh, we have a bunch of Sony news this week. Oh,
Sony
man.
has announced the PlayStation 4 Pro, formerly named the PlayStation 4 Neo.
Now, we had a disagreement about this at the beginning of the show.
Yes, we did.
I think the Neo is a much worse name than the Pro. The Pro, don't get me wrong, the Pro's not a good name.
I disagree. Because...
Oh, zoom that junk in.
Oh, yeah.
Magnify. Whoa.
Enhance.
Oh
we
my
need to
gosh.
catch this criminal.
It's just like Blade Runner over here. Oh my gosh.
He enhanced that picture so hard in Blade Runner.
Dude, that's a crazy version of Photoshop.
That scene is like insane.
Though
he just keeps going.
Though to be fair, Photoshop has gotten to that point by now. So
look forward to our next podcast bonus content where we talk about how crazy Photoshop in Blade Runner is.
But
hey, Blade Runner happened this year,
so it makes sense that Photoshop is just as good as it was.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, so the PlayStation 4 Pro is, I mean, that's what the high-powered PlayStation console is gonna be.
So if like you look at a PS4 and see it as like two pancakes on top of each other, because of those two sections.
Yep.
They took like another pancake.
There's another pancake on.
It's a 3-stack. It's a short stack of PS4.
I mean, that is usually how you make any breakfast better.
Or any computing device. Just put another on top.
Yes. I mean, we did learn with the PS3 that if you put enough of them on top of each other, it becomes a supercomputer.
Yeah, the U.S. government bought a bunch.
Yeah, so
many cores.
It just makes sense, really.
So yes, Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Andrew House said that the PS4 said the system is called the PS4 Pro, and that it will be the higher-end console that will sit alongside and complement the standard PS4. Which is a weird thing to say because, I mean, it sounds like just jargon of like, don't worry, your PS4 is still relevant.
It makes it sound like a peripheral, which it is not.
It's absolutely not. It's a replacement.
Clearly not a peripheral. It's not like they sell the third pancake separately and you can like install it onto your PS4. No, this is a separate console.
You imagine if they did market it? Pre-order the Neo Pancake now.
Pancake Pro.
Pancake Pro.
Well, I mean,
that should be this week's podcast title.
Oh, the Pancake Pro.
The Pancake Pro.
Okay, done.
Note it.
But no, it's actually interesting because back before they decided to just release new versions of existing consoles.
Yes.
Back in the day, like with the N64, you got that little cartridgey thing.
The expansion pack.
Yeah, that went inside it, and that upgraded the console. Not very much.
You needed it to play Majora's Mask.
Oh yeah, you did, didn't you? Majora's Mask, so high tech.
Yeah.
Oh, those moons.
Well, what else did you need it for? You totally need it for someone else, so...
I thought it was just a bunch of the stuff going forward.
Yeah. Not everything.
Not everything,
Mm.
but no. So it used to be that you could install stuff into consoles.
Yeah. So the system has more than double the power of a standard PS4 graphics processing unit, boosted CPU clock rate, 1 terabyte hard drive, and support for 4K and HDR.
Wow.
This is not a peripheral to the regular PS4.
No,
this is an objectively far superior console. Like,
and I mean, to those who've been holding off on buying a PS4, like me, now the regular PS4s are going to drop like a rock in price.
oh yeah, pick that up. Play Bloodborne.
Oh, Bloodborne's so good.
That's amazing.
Those mushroom men.
Everything about it.
Yeah. So there has been gameplay of a few different games. On this versus on the regular PS4.
Look at those
Man, it
pancakes.
is just that third pancake.
It is. I told you.
If you're watching that Twitch stream, we got a great side view of this. Just
Oh.
oh, you.
Destructoid decided it didn't like me.
It reloaded.
We're back.
Okay, so wow, shoot, what was I saying? Before I got distracted by pancakes. Yeah, there's been different gameplay that's been
Yes.
shown on both consoles. Actually, does this article talk about that? I think it does.
Speaking of
But one of the games that they showed off was
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Is that the one you wanted to talk about?
That is the one I want to talk about,
Okay.
because that was the gameplay I saw.
Yeah, because I pulled this article up just for that reason.
So this is from September 7th that they were showing this off. Oh, as long as you cut that audio, you should play that junk.
How do I cut the audio up there? Oh. That is obnoxious.
How
on,
does...
what-
Okay, we
do
got
it.
it.
Okay.
So,
Here's Mass Effect Andromeda.
it looks great.
Yeah. It's very nice.
Here's the thing, though.
Very sharp.
It's
got some nasty looking polygons in the back there, though.
Oh no, you're right. Those clouds.
It's not perfect. It's not perfect.
But it should be perfect.
It should be perfect.
But no, it's it looks good, but I don't know, because again, like, this isn't a game that already existed on the PS4, and we're
so
now
how do
seeing...
we benchmark it?
Yeah, so it's difficult to benchmark, but I still feel like
No Man's Sky.
Yeah, No Man's Sky. It still feels like, or seems to me like, okay, it looks really nice, but does it look much nicer than the stuff that was on the PS4?
I mean,
because this generation of
bit?
consoles already looks spectacular,
right? And we've hit the point. I don't know if we've talked about this really before. That I feel like we've kind of hit the point with the current console generation where games can't really look that much better.
Also, the fact that, like, this has 4K output, but a lot of people don't have 4K TVs, so they can't really appreciate it.
But no, they said that you don't need to have a 4K TV to enjoy your experience on the PS4 Pro.
Said the marketing team for the PS4
Said the
Pro.
marketing team. But obviously you do, because you can't output 4K resolution without a 4K screen.
Yeah.
Like, you can output downscaled 4K footage, which is not 4K, because you have downscaled it.
It's still nice, but it's not 4K.
No.
But the one thing about this gameplay, and I think we're actually about to get to it, that I noticed, it's the one technology that I think is not advanced far enough on video games, that's holding everybody back, is some of the mocap.
Absolutely. I thought the same thing.
Yeah, specifically with cutscenes. And I think we're about to see it on here, so if you're watching, or you could fast forward a little bit. Actually, if you could, that would be great. Because if people are watching live, it makes sense for them to see
it starts like right here.
Okay. But yeah, we have the Commander Shepard character. He's pressing down on a pad, and he's got his 2 other party members with him.
Yep.
And
well, watch their mouths move when they talk.
Yeah, when their mouths move when they talk, and I think some of their other movements, especially when...
Look at it.
Yeah, when the mouths move, it still seems like it's just the mouth that's moving, and not like a jaw that's moving.
Right, you can see it on her too.
And a lot of the sort of... I don't know if this is part of the way it was acted, but the way they sort of emote with their body language still looks weirdly like jerky and exaggerated.
Like that.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I was like, what is that?
One of them is running.
What is this, like, running animation? It looks like a really jerky model, like...
Which is weird because we know it's mocapped, so it shouldn't look like that. But yeah, so that's the thing, and it's not just a rip on Mass Effect.
No.
I've certainly noticed this for the entire Mass Effect series, but I noticed this in a lot of video game series. That a lot of mocap just doesn't look as fluid as it should.
Right.
And it didn't used to stand out so badly because the other graphics weren't like almost photorealistic.
You look at a PS2 game where characters are made of very obvious polygons, and when they're talking in a cutscene, they're like emoting like crazy because that's how you convey what the character is trying to tell you with PS2 graphics.
Yeah.
But we haven't advanced to the point where like you can have a game like people that we're still using those emoting motions for things, even in like The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
For example, The Witcher 3 has pretty good character animations, has very good facial animation. Much better than that, actually. The Witcher 3's facial animation is stellar, but the characters' body movements are still kind of jerky, and they still, like, when they are talking, go like, "Rah!" and hold their arms out in, like, a goofy way or something that feels very stiff still. And it's like a holdover from, like, old games when that was, like, necessary.
Yeah.
To know a character was talking or something. So why in this? Why in this 4K Mass Effect game?
So maybe it has more to do with the way things are directed and not the way the mocap tech works.
Right.
Although the mocap tech may be partially to blame.
There's a game called Bound that came out recently. Let me see if I can find footage of this. Because if we're talking about character animations, this is something to look at. Because this game, here, I'll zoom it up so anyone on our Twitch can see it. This game has, like, incredible character animation work. Like, your character moves like a ballet dancer, kind of, and sometimes it doesn't look right, but just look at the fluidity of the physical character movement. They move like a person moves in this. Like, this is how, like,
like a person who takes ballet.
Or, like a dancer, but you know what I mean. And it looks natural. And compare that to what we just, like, looked at in the Mass Effect video, and it's very, like, durr.
And now Bound is a beautiful game, but it still seems more like... It definitely doesn't have as high a budget as Mass Effect Andromeda.
Not.
So, yeah, maybe... I guess that does support the argument that this is more of just a way these games are directed, and they sort of need to get themselves in a different mindset when directing.
And that maybe that, like... But, you know, maybe they had to prioritize certain things with Mass Effect, and they decided to not prioritize that.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
That's fine.
But it is kind of funny when you say, like, here's our 4K footage of Mass Effect Andromeda, look how amazing it looks. But there's these glaring, like, look at this fucking video game jank moments in the trailer.
Especially when they're running from that explosion, and it's just like...
Look at that jank.
Look
at their weird little morphing mouth textures. But you compare that to, like, this Bound video, and it's like night and day.
Oh, yeah.
And I know, like, we're comparing apples to oranges in some ways here, but the core of how motion capture works is the same for both titles. I'm also assuming Bound was motion captured.
It might not have been.
If it wasn't, then kudos, because those animations are stellar. Like, so, yeah, we gotta look at that. This actually raised the question... of where's the thing I wanted to look at, of what games will support HDR when the feature launches on PS4 next week, because this is being put out as a thing. You are going to be able to get patches for the PS4 Pro for 4K and HDR stuff. And initially, I guess people thought that they were going to be charging consumers for these patches.
Yeah, so there was a story out of Polygon from... I mean, it says the 9th. I don't know if that's when the update happened, so it might have been like a day or two before that.
Yeah.
But it was pretty much talking about how the... a
lot of existing games are going to be patched to increase the new... to add the new features.
Yes,
into old games.
And there was an interview with... I'm not going to get his name right.
Masayasu Ito.
Thank you, Dan. An executive vice president at Sony Interactive Entertainment.
Yep.
And he told a Japanese website, Game Impress Watch, and Kotaku translated this interview, that it will be different for each title depending on the thinking of each licensee.
Yes.
And that was addressing the question of where, if you will, charge for these patches.
Yeah.
So it seems like he's saying, hey, maybe some of the game devs are going to be willing to put this patch out for free, but not all of them.
But then he went on to say that for Sony, it will vary for each one of our titles.
Ah.
Which kind of is weird, because one would think that he was referring to third-party publishers. But he says nope.
So then there was an update to this story that basically said a Sony spokesperson said that we will not charge consumers for patches.
Yeah.
But again, that doesn't rule out the third-party publishers.
Yeah.
So that just tells us, okay, well, all of Sony's patches, and which wouldn't be so annoying if, AAA titles didn't release broken half the time, and with like half of their content because it's all getting released as DLC later.
Yeah. The update to this was Sony representative telling Polygon that they would not charge consumers for patches.
Yeah.
Period. So.
But again, that's only Sony saying that.
Right.
So a third party company may not.
Yeah.
It can't like be held accountable for that. So
That's
we
right.
don't. Yeah, we don't know.
No. We have a little list of games that have been confirmed to have the support for these features. When the console launches on November 10th, Uncharted 4 and Infamous First Light will have it. All first-party PS4 games coming in 2017 or later, including Horizon Zero Dawn, will have it. Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, The Witness, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and the Elder Scrolls Online will all support it as far as third-party titles go. However, the only the announcement for this. Okay, so the Bethesda announcement noted the PS4 Pro patch will be free. So it remains to be seen with these other titles. And then third-party titles also include. There's also like Sony's Days Gone for HDR, Quantic Dream's Detroit Become Human, and Insomniac Games Spider-Man. So it's kind of all over the place right now. We're getting a couple things right off the bat, which is cool, but not much. And then it seems like it's going to be all over the place aside from that.
Yeah.
And I wonder if like older titles are going to get it. Like, will Bloodborne get these features?
Well, listen, it's From Software that makes that, right? From Software.
Will Dark Souls 3 get it?
They're good guys, okay?
Yeah, they're cool.
I think they're going to do it.
Yeah.
I think we can count on them.
And they probably wouldn't charge for it. But we'll see. Sony also talked about how, because of Pokemon Go, Mr. Kaz Hirai, Ridge Racer himself. That's going way back. Jeez. PS3 announcement days. Said that they would be pushing aggressively into mobile gaming, citing Pokemon Go. What do you think about this, Lex?
Oh, no.
Pokemon Go is a big success, so we here at Sony are gonna get into mobile gaming real hard.
This is a story from almost a week ago, because this is September 4th.
Yes.
I mean, Pokemon Go made a whole lot of money.
It did.
It would be making a lot more money if Niantic made the game.
But they're adding the buddy system into the game. Look, the first decent update they've ever made, but they didn't fix anything else.
Nope. So this is interesting because it's taking like a property that's massively successful. It could be significantly more successful if it was implemented better.
Right.
So I think that Sony is looking at that and saying, well, what if we did that, but we implemented it correctly?
Yeah.
Now, does Sony have a property that lends itself well enough to this? I don't know.
Probably.
Probably, but I can't think of one off the top of my head.
But, how many Go's are we going to get out of Sony? Are we going to get, Uncharted Go? Because they're just going to call it something Go.
Oh, they probably will, won't they?
That's because they want people to associate it with Pokemon Go.
That's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. Also, the fall-off of Pokemon Go has been hard. It still has millions and millions and millions of players.
Yeah.
But the drop-off from, the first couple weeks has been huge. And that's with it being a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, something that I'm sure Sony has considered in some degree, but, you need to understand, Pokemon Go is literally almost the same game as Ingress, which Niantic also made.
Yes.
Which was popular. Nowhere near as popular as Pokemon Go. So what's the difference? Pokemon.
Yes. The property. The property is what makes the difference.
Sony does not have a Pokemon.
No.
They don't. So citing Pokemon Go as their reason for jumping into this, and it makes me think that they're going to try to ape it in some way, and they don't have an IP that's going to do that. They don't have a universally beloved, like, by all ages IP like Pokemon.
Oh, but what about Sackboy?
Oh my god, no.
I like how this article...
You can't... It sounds weird to say, because obviously these are manufactured, but you can't manufacture an IP like that. Pokemon happened naturally over the course of, like, decades. It became what it is.
I would say there was some natural growth, but there was a lot of manufactured growth, but again, decades. It had time to be built up by this company.
Right.
Whereas...
So Sony can't just drop, like, Super Sony Bros. Go on us and be like, look at our new cool IP that's... People are not going to care.
Didn't someone put out, like, a Super Smash Bros. Type thing with a bunch of other...
PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
Oh, okay, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah,
it's super lame.
Super lame.
It's just a lamer version of it's just a lamer version of Super Smash Brothers with a way less interesting cast of characters. Because Nintendo, if Nintendo has one thing, it is an excellent cast of characters to draw from for whatever they want.
Yeah.
Sony and Microsoft just don't have that.
Yeah, Microsoft just has, like, Master Chief.
And Call of Duty Man.
Yeah.
And, like, what does Sony have? The Killzone Man. And, like...
Oh, no.
And, like, Nathan Drake.
Oh, Killzone, actually, that makes me just think that they're definitely going to try and ape this really hard. Because that's pretty much what they did with Killzone. Was they were like, how do we just ape the really successful shooters that Microsoft puts out?
Make a shooter.
And that didn't work out well for them.
But then they made Killzone 2, and it worked out a little bit better.
A little bit better, but still not what they were hoping for.
But that's the thing, is, like, this reeks to me as, like, the wrong reason to try and get into mobile gaming, you know? Because they're not gonna, they're just not gonna see the same success as Pokemon Go. I think they're better off focusing on their console.
You know what's really sad that I just thought of?
What?
That Konami totally has properties that could work for this, but since it's not a pachinko machine, they're probably not going to do it.
They're making all their money off pachinko.
Yeah,
they don't care about mobile gaming. Although I think they do make mobile games already.
I'm pretty sure
in Japan. They publish a bunch of mobile games, I think. So, well, good luck, Sony.
Oh, Sony. Sometimes...
Remember how they got into handheld gaming because of Nintendo being all about handheld gaming?
Dan, Vita means life.
Oh, by the way, the Vita's being, like, discontinued.
When was that story?
Recently, I'm pretty sure.
Did we talk about this last week?
I don't think so. But I'm glad I thought of it.
Because that's kind of considering life no more.
Oh, maybe it's just a rumor. These are from 2016. Oh.
This is from April.
From April.
And May.
I totally heard something recently. Maybe there's just a rumor milling around still that they're going to be ceasing production of, like, first-party Vita titles and the system. But who knows? A lot of games have been that had Vita releases. There have been a couple recently that have canceled their Vita releases as well.
Oh no! Oh wait, I heard about that. Hyper Light Drifter.
Hyper Light Drifter.
Yeah,
is no longer getting a Vita release.
But there was a console like people use that it isn't getting released for. Oh, it's not getting released on Wii U either.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which also makes sense because the Wii U is also dead.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Whatever. I'm going to stream a Wii U game on our Twitch channel and everyone's going to love it. And I'm going to show them all that they were fools for not appreciating the Wii U properly. We'll see. Little story about Bethesda and Sony on Kotaku here.
Oh, this is a super bummer that this happened. So this is and this is from today, the 9th.
Yep.
But mods. They were coming.
Hold on a minute, Lex.
What?
I need to figure out why everyone's obsessed with these socks.
Thanks, Kotaku. You're the best website.
Sorry about it. Anyway.
So basically, Bethesda had said, hey, you guys love mods for Fallout 4 and Skyrim, so do we. Everyone, the whole PC master race loves them. So we're going to bring mods to the Xbone and the PS4. But then that wasn't going to happen. Because, as we found out today,
they have been discussing with Sony for months
about getting these mods on the PS4.
Get those mods.
And they cannot reach an agreement.
Nope.
Like, Sony wants certain, things set up a certain way.
Do you think Sony just, doesn't know what they are and is, afraid?
Probably.
Like,
they're afraid of...
Huh?
They're like the opposite of, your mom using a computer, where it's they're too afraid they're going to download a virus. So they
don't just download tons of viruses.
Yeah, so they won't go to any websites or open any emails.
They're your dad using a computer.
Exactly. A virus. These mods are going to have viruses. So we're still going to get mods on the Xbone.
Yes.
So you console players are going to get some of those sweet, sweet mods.
And if you play on PC Master Race, you already have mods.
So
what do you care?
You're fine.
You don't give a crap.
Yeah.
Speaking of mods, I was thinking about Thief, and I was like, man, I want to play Thief again, because it's awesome.
Yeah.
But I was like, but I don't want to play The Fourth, because The Fourth is stupid.
What?
It's the newest Thief game.
Oh, okay.
They wrote it THI4F.
Oh, and that's why you're pronouncing it that
because
way.
they wrote it stupid.
Yeah, okay. That makes
for
sense.
Marketing.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't want to play The Fourth because it still costs $20 on Steam. I'm not paying $20 for that pile of garbage. But I found out about this thing called the Dark Mod, which is the Thief game basically rebuilt in the Doom 3 engine.
Whoa.
And then made into a building program so people can just make levels for it.
That sounds awesome.
And it's free. It's a 2 GB download from the Dark Mod website.
It's not even that big.
You can download it, you can play it, and there's tons of levels on there for you to just download and play. And I've been playing it, and it's great.
We should stream that.
We should.
That sounds
really
awesome.
Great.
Yeah,
it's
no, I need
super
to play that. That sounds so good.
Yeah, it's really terrific. Check it out. So it's called the Dark Mod, if anyone else wants to check that out. Really, really cool. There's 80-something levels on their website that you can download and play. And some of them, they have some short campaigns of 3 to 5 missions as well, even. It's very cool. And it plays just like the old game. So yeah, no mods though. You can't get Dark Mod on your PS4.
You couldn't get it anyway. But
don't even try it.
Don't even try it.
So that's a shame. Something else that's not happening because of Sony probably is the Uncharted movie.
Oh.
It's in development hell again.
Again.
An article from The Third. The Uncharted movie project started in 2008, in case you don't remember. And people are still trying to get it made.
I don't understand.
The game's basically a movie already.
It is a movie already. I don't get how Assassin's Creed is getting made, but this isn't.
Yeah.
Because it would be so much easier to make a movie of this than Assassin's Creed. But also because these games are just Indiana Jones games.
Yeah.
I mean, they're modern Indiana Jones games. I think that's really the only significant difference, is it's set in modern day instead of in the 40s.
Yes.
But we know that Indiana Jones is a movie franchise that makes money. I mean, Crystal Skull didn't make money, but that was a horrible piece of garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're still gonna make another Indiana Jones movie. Did you hear about this? It's crazy. It's crazy. They shouldn't.
I probably heard about it, and just like you, I had that moment of traumatic blackout.
Yeah. But the fact that there's still funding for that and it's gonna get made is just come on, you guys can.
Well, they were gonna have Marky Mark was gonna be Nathan Drake,
which
is terrible.
That does sound terrible.
That sounds awful. I don't remember who David O. Russell is.
Oh, he's made a bunch of really good movies.
Is he?
Look at him. He's so.
Oh, he looks like a guy who.
No, but he made American Hustle, which is amazing.
Oh, okay.
And Silver Linings Playbook, which is also really, really good. And
and
he made Three Kings, which actually, that must have been one of his earlier movies, because I watched that a long time ago. I didn't know he was the one who made that. That actually makes a lot of sense as to why he'd make an Uncharted movie.
Well, he's not making it anymore.
Well, he's not making it anymore, but that's very similar to something like an Uncharted movie.
Then they went to Chris Pratt starring, which this article says he doesn't look like Drake.
But he would be a better casting choice than Mark Wahlberg.
He doesn't look like him, but he can act like him.
He totally can.
He has the personality for sure. And then there's fan petitions for Nathan Fillion.
Oh, that
who,
would be
like,
awesome.
looks more the part and has the, like, attitude.
But he's not a big enough star.
He's not a big enough star, and, like, I don't know. He might be a little too old. Although Nathan Drake's pretty old in the most recent game.
Yes.
So, like Drake's not, like, a young guy. He's in, like, his 30s.
Yeah.
Like, early 40s, maybe, even in the newest one. I'm not
So
sure.
it depends on if your movie was set in, like,
Yeah.
the middle of Drake's sort of story.
Exactly.
Which actually makes even more sense as an Indiana Jones comparison. Because the first Indiana Jones movie is set, like, after he's been doing what he does for a long time. Because the second one is a prequel. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
But Temple of Doom, prequel. Crazy.
Wait, it is?
Yes.
Oh my god, I never even knew that.
Because they put the dates at the beginning of the movies.
You're right.
And yeah, the
And
second one totally happened
What?
like before. Like 5 years before or
That's
something.
so crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Now I kind of want to watch Temple of Doom for some reason.
Listen, Temple of Doom, I mean, when you compare it to Last Crusade
And
or
Raiders.
Raiders, it's not great, but only in comparison to those. When you just watch it on its own, it's
good.
pretty good.
Eh. It's the one I've seen the least. I've only seen it twice.
Oh, yeah.
A very long time ago.
Wait, are you sure Crystal Skull isn't the one you've seen the least?
Okay, that one I've only seen
that's,
once.
I don't even think I've seen all of Crystal Skull.
I, like, tuned out halfway through
Yeah.
it, but the whole movie played.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I feel that. Okay, but back to video games.
Back to video games. Yeah, we got on a tangent there. That was
So
dangerous.
Uncharted movie probably not going to happen.
No, it's been full on removed from Sony's release calendar of, like, projects.
So do we think that if the Assassin's Creed does really well in
Mm-hmm.
theaters, that this will come back on to their release calendar? That's what I feel like is going to happen.
Maybe.
Because if
Is
they're...
Assassin's Creed out, or does that come out in October?
I don't think it's come out yet. If it came out already, then man, it flopped because I heard nothing about it. But I don't think that it has.
Assassin's Creed.
You just found the video game, didn't you?
I can go to the disambiguation. Oh my god, there's so many games.
There's a lot of games.
Theatrical film.
Okay, there we go.
Released
December.
Oh, it's December. It's still
So
a ways
it's still a
off.
ways
Okay,
away.
yeah.
So I feel like if that does super, super well, then we will see an Uncharted movie.
Yes.
That would make sense to me.
Yeah. Let's talk about VR sales and how they're bad.
Oh no! This is what we were talking about. We were talking about this when VR first came out. We were talking about it this past
We totally
E3.
talked about it.
Yeah, and guess
We
what?
were right.
We were right.
Everyone, we were right about something.
This happened.
Give us our Patreon money.
Please. No, but okay, so this is an article from...
They could have picked a better stock photo for this. They should have done the one with the guy with the hot dogs.
Now there's so many good VR stock photos, you have no excuse.
Or the one of the naked lady.
So this is from Metro UK,
Yes.
.co.uk, oh my gosh. And it is from September 6th.
Yep.
And it is about how Oculus Rift and HTC Vive sales have ground to a halt. They've basically dropped off a cliff.
Exactly what we said. Everybody who wanted it buys it right away.
Yeah, those
but
early
then nobody
adopters.
else wants it.
Yeah, because these
Because they don't have anything to play.
Yeah, these consoles have really great tech demos, but they've had really great tech demos for years.
Yeah.
And what they needed on launch was they needed AAA titles. Now, there are some sort of AAA titles that are coming out for these consoles, like there's going to be a Star Wars game, there's that Eve Valkyrie game, which is basically exactly the same as the Star Wars game.
But it's not Star Wars.
But it's not Star Wars, but otherwise exactly the same. But the problem is that those are great kind of rail shooters, but a rail shooter has never carried a console.
Right.
So what they really need is a AAA title that like a Call of Duty. They just need a Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And they needed to launch with that. And they didn't. And when they were launching when was it, in the spring that these launched, I believe?
Yeah.
We were talking about this and we were like, hey dude, like we need AAA titles. You guys need AAA titles to sell these consoles.
They need a game that is to VR as Halo 1 was to the original Xbox.
Yes. And now, like, when
because that's the best, like, textbook example of, like, this game made this succeed.
Yes. And it's like now with the big consoles, because they have all these really powerful established franchises like your Uncharted's or your Mass Effects. Or your Halos. Or your Call of Duties. Not your Killzones, though, not that one.
Your Souls games, even.
Yeah, your Souls games. Because those are all established, it's like, okay, well, we know that with our launch lineup, we're going to have at least one or a couple of those games. Or with Nintendo, they have they're like, okay, we're going to launch the NX with a Zelda game.
Yeah.
You know, so that all makes sense, and that's what's going to push sales of that console. But with the VR, they needed to get that title, and they didn't do it because they concentrated so much on the hardware and not the software.
Yeah.
And I understand why they thought the hardware was going to carry them, because it's really revolutionary hardware.
Right.
But it's not. All it's going to do is get those early adopters, and these sales numbers are proving that. So they're not making the money.
And they're so expensive for what they do.
Oh my god.
And what's available.
And the fact that they're a peripheral. Like, you can't just buy them and then play the games. You have to have a computer that's already mega powerful.
We ain't talking about no PS4 Pancake now. We're talking about an actual peripheral.
So yeah, these we have some percentages here that we can talk about. If you're watching us on Twitch, you can already see some of these numbers.
I'm gonna scroll so fast no one can read it.
So with the Steam survey showing that only 0.18% of users own an HTC Vive and only 0.1% of users have an Oculus Rift, that's pretty small. But more importantly, the Vive sales grew only 0.3% in July.
That's not a lot.
And that was
completely flat in August.
It's completely flat in August. Oh my god, that's terrible. Because July was like right after these things launched.
That's a hard drop.
They launched in what, April or May? I don't exactly remember the month, but yeah, man.
So the question is this going to peter out and die, or are some decent VR games going to come out? The people who already have them are going to play those, and more people are going to buy them.
Is it already too late?
Is it already too late?
That's
more what I meant to ask.
So is this just telling us that VR was a fad, and that fad is pretty much over?
Wait a minute, Lex. Are you saying that I was right?
I might be saying that we were both right then.
I couldn't remember if you felt like it was completely a fad.
You know what? I don't know. You're going to have to go back into our show archive on iTunes, YouTube,
or chipit.net.
Or chipit.net to find out, but I'm pretty sure that I was on the right side.
Yeah, I think you were, because I feel like we both agreed on it.
Listen, Dan, if you're giving me an option as to whether I was right or not, and we can't fact check it, I was right.
But we were both right.
Both right.
Please give money to our Patreon.
But no, so
can we set up the Patreon so every time we're right about something, we get money?
No.
Like how artists are like, every time I draw a picture, I get money. Every time I make a song, I get money.
Oh.
Every time we say something that's not ass backwards stupid,
we get money.
We get money.
So this is unfortunate, and it's so annoying, because if it does prove to peter out like a fad, that could have been avoided so easily. Well, maybe not easily, but it could have been avoided.
Could have been avoided, though.
It's infuriating. John Carmack, you messed up.
But don't worry, VR is going to be getting into mobile now.
I mean, it kind of is.
Have you heard of Pokemon Go?
It kind of is, because there's that phone that you can use as a...
That's right.
So it kind of already is into mobile.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh,
this
boy.
is so. I mean, the other chance for for VR to have a second life. Is if in the future, like in a year or 2 years, it gets to the point where it's much easier to have the PC that can run VR stuff.
Yeah.
And then the cost of the headsets has gone down significantly. I could see it resurging then, but until then, I think its sales are just going to keep being flat.
Yeah, I would agree. Because if it fell off that hard already, it's not going to jump back.
That's my prediction, and it'll probably be right. Yep. And if the opposite happens, then you know what? I'm still going to say I was right.
What didn't completely flop?
Oh my gosh!
World of
this was
Warcraft
a shock.
Legion. Yeah.
I mean, maybe not that much of a shock, but like.
I mean, for a game that's been sort of floundering for a little bit now, it's kind of surprising.
And they needed this.
Yeah.
They totally needed this.
So the newest expansion sold 3.3 million copies at launch.
And this is an article we're citing from Rock Paper Shotgun from September 8th.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it sold a lot.
It's good.
So much. And last week we did a story about how its launch was super smooth and amazing.
Which is even better.
And one of the things we speculated was like, oh, was it so smooth and amazing because like there aren't that many people playing? But no, there are quite a few people playing.
Yeah.
Now, not as much as,
The peak 12 million players, or subscriber, was quite a bit more than 3.3 million copies sold. But the fact that it still sold 3.3 million copies, and that there's maybe subscribers and players who do not have the expansion as well still, means they're still doing pretty good.
It seems like they're either bringing back a lot of people or bringing in new people.
Yeah.
And for a game that is still a monthly payment system in a world where every other MMO has gone free to play.
Yeah, it's been monthly payment for over a decade now.
Yeah, that's super impressive.
Even EVE Online is going free to play.
Even EVE Online, we talked about that last week.
Yep.
Check out our show archive.
So it's still damn impressive.
Oh yeah.
We can say it as many times as we want. The only thing that's going to kill WoW is WoW.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it will burn out eventually, but it's still going strong enough for now.
And it seemed like they were burning themselves out after Warlords of Draenor because they were just not putting out quality content.
Yeah.
But now with they turned it around.
Everything I've heard about Legion is like it's very well put together.
Mm-hmm.
So good on them. They pulled it back.
Illidan saved the day with his super edge masterness.
Last little story off of Destructoid from yesterday, the 8th. Interplay is selling off some of their IPs, including Earthworm Jim, Free Space, and more.
Oh my god.
So Interplay, obviously makers of Earthworm Jim, there's not a whole lot going on with them.
Not for the last couple of years,
but they still exist. But they are now looking to offload their library of video game assets and IPs.
Oh my gosh, they made Clay Fighter? I forgot they made Clay Fighter.
Yeah, man.
Oh, and Dark Alliance.
Messiah, MDK, Run Like Hell,
I don't remember that
Battle
one.
Chess, and Descent.
Oh,
I love Descent.
Wasn't there kickstarted like it wasn't Descent, but it was similar to Descent.
It was Descent.
Oh, it was Descent.
It was a
okay.
Descent game. Yeah, I can't remember if it made it or not.
I think it did.
Yeah, I should look that up. Yeah, I bought Descent on Good Old Games like a year ago, and then I tried playing it and realized that you can't really play it well without a joystick, and I was like, well, maybe I'll get a joystick someday. But it's a really cool game. So the expected sale represents 70 titles and dozens of characters.
Wow.
It's really interesting because this means a whole lot of kind of weird old IPs might resurface in the next few years.
This has been happening a lot lately.
Yeah.
Like with rare stuff. And
like, will we get a new Earthworm Jim 3 years from now?
That would be kind of cool.
It would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm into it. Sure.
We have our voter story.
Oh my gosh. Bring up that video.
Oh god, where is it? How do I get to it?
Oh, I don't know if you
open it.
I don't know.
I don't want to open my email on here though. People will see it.
People will ever see it. You can open your Facebook.
That's even worse.
That's even worse. It's a lot worse.
I don't have a good option here.
So this is the PS4 Slim Japanese commercial.
Let me just pull it up because I can.
It was an article on Destructoid.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I think
because it's a bundle with Persona 5.
So this is like this commercial. We're playing it for you watching our live stream,
yen.
And this is a crazy commercial. Woman sitting in front. Let's narrate it. So a woman sitting in front of a dollar bill. Now she's playing piano.
Yeah, she's playing piano on a rooftop.
She's singing a beautiful song.
She's singing a song about PlayStation 4.
PlayStation 4 was
34,980 yen.
That's quite a bit.
Inside the console, she was inside the console.
Oh my gosh, she didn't know the outside
world.
world.
Lived in the console that was so expensive, but she could hear us all talking to her. They were tweeting like crazy. Even Pa 48 was like, "Oh man, if only it cost less than 30,000 yen." And Persona 5 freed her from her bondage. Look at it! Persona 5 man!
The price is now.
Person 5 man, and then she turned into a creepy dummy.
Oh, that was a creepy thing.
And it's only 29,980 yen.
So this is one of the great parts about this is there's a live action person cosplayed as a Persona 5 person who carries her through flames.
It's awesome.
And then it cuts back to her playing piano, and there's some more explosions, and then she's dancing around.
Yeah, she really used to be, and she's flipping her hair around in like golden
And
energy.
It's smaller because it's the Slim. What?
She's jamming out. There's a comet. It hits a PS4.
And then there's an Akira-like explosion of money.
It turns into money, and everyone's just picking up their money, like, but there's no person on the money. What's going on? And then they're dancing in a park.
Everyone who couldn't decide now can do.
Can do.
And Persona 5 will launch on the same day.
Oh my god. This reminds me Persona 5 is coming out in like a week, and I need to stop going on the internet.
Oh, because you don't want to get spoiled.
I don't want to get spoiled. I have to wait like 5 months to play this goddamn game, and there's going to be spoilers freaking everywhere.
So, this commercial's amazing.
It's really good.
We've still got like 40 seconds left on it, but it's so great.
Let's just let it rock.
Uh,
Just let it rock.
Oh my god, there's a cat with a Persona mask! Oh, this is...
What a twist.
Oh my gosh. So, this is great marketing, and just another reason why Japan makes fantastic commercials. But also, what is 5,000 yen in American dollars?
$50.
Oh, that's a decent price
A
drop.
yen is a penny.
Oh, okay. So
it's like practically
a
a 1-to-1 nowadays. There's a misconception that a yen is like way less than a penny. Like the value of Japanese money is
like
way
a
less than
hay penny.
But that's an arrogant American view of the world.
Can I just point out that almost every time on this show in past episodes we brought up yen, I've always been like, oh yeah, then that's like $10.
Yeah.
Because it's like 50,000 yen.
Such arrogance.
Yeah.
You American fool. Also, the yen was way stronger than the dollar for like a solid 4 years.
Yeah.
Between like 2009 and like 2013.
Oh, because of that recession. Oh no.
Yeah. It was like 75 yen to the dollar.
So let's talk about what games are coming out to wrap up the show.
Yes, indeed, you do.
We have Toxic.
It's like a shooter.
Okay, coming out on the Windows PC today.
BioShock the Collection.
On the Xbone, the PS4, and the Windows.
I watched a comparison video of that to the old BioShock, and I'm also playing through the first BioShock with my wife. I really don't think it looks that much better. Like, I don't think it's really worth bothering.
Yeah, maybe just spend the hay pennies you have to spend on the first BioShock regular version.
You get it for free if you already own the regular Windows version or something.
Oh, really? Then that might be worth it then.
Yeah, there's something about that.
But yeah, so we've also got
remastered version of the first 2 games to be offered as free upgrades for existing owners of the game on Windows.
Oh.
So that is nice because it's not a huge bump up.
Hey, you know what's coming out on the 13th?
Also,
Recore.
Oh yeah.
We've been waiting for. We haven't heard much about that lately. They haven't.
We know it's not a full price title.
Yeah.
It's not a $60 game.
But I'm really excited to see what that's like.
The Witness comes out on Xbone.
Okay.
On the 13th as well. Dead Rising 2, and the Dead Rising Triple Pack come out on PS4 and Xbone as well.
NASCAR Heat Evolution. Because
NHL 17.
Heat, it's evolving.
Pro Evolution Soccer 2017. Psychopath's Mandatory Happiness.
Ooh, on the 14th, Avedon 3, The Warborn.
I don't know what that is.
Avedon, have you heard of the Spider Silk games, which is the dude who makes like old Baldur's Gate style games, except they look worse than Baldur's Gate.
Great.
It's like one guy making these games, and he makes a bunch of games, and they're all really good. Like, they're well-made games. They just look like they came out in the 90s. Because it's just him. It's all he wants to do.
As we just said, Persona 5 is coming out in Japan on the 15th.
Yes.
But that's still noteworthy. So if you want to import it, go ahead.
Yeah, Dragon Quest 7.
For the 3DS.
Of the
it's the remake
past.
of it for the 3DS.
Very cool.
And Valkyrie Drive Bikuni, which I think isn't actually getting released this day.
Oh.
It's an anime fan service game.
Sure. And then after that, we're getting into when our next episode would be. So
yeah,
we're good.
So that's about it. Thank you all for listening.
Thanks, or watching if you're watching on Twitch. So we have been Don't Copy That Floppy, a video game news podcast, vodcast. And we broadcast live Friday nights, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on chipit.net, Chipit Radio. Also on Twitch, twitch.tv/DCTF podcast. You can find us on a bunch of other websites, social media type places, such as Twitter, Facebook, Steam, iTunes, and YouTube.
That is correct.
We've got show archives. Dan, where are those show archives?
They're on YouTube. They're on iTunes. And they are on the chipbit.net website.
Yeah.
You should also check out the other shows on the chipbit.net website.
Such as Inner Geek, which is a show that, a weekly show about comic books mostly, and comic book related stuff.
Nerd crap.
Yeah. And also Remix Mondays, which is cool remixes of chiptune music.
And I mean, anytime you want, you can also just go on there and listen to chiptune music.
It's good. There's a whole library of it.
It's a 24-hour station.
Yeah. If you like chiptune, check it out. And thank you so much if you have followed us on there.
Extra big thank you if you have donated to us on Patreon.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And if you have not, please consider doing so if you like the show.
We have
leave us an iTunes review too.
Oh, leave us an iTunes review. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
We have all sorts of really cool reward tiers on the Patreon. You can do things like you can vote on stories we do each week. Like if you were listening now and you caught the end of the show where we showed the commercial for the PS4 Slim in Japan. Yeah. That was our fan voted story for this week.
We usually send out like 3 or 4 options for the voting.
Yep. So that's one of the rewards. You can also, if you pay enough, you can suggest stories to us that we then have to cover. I mean, those are
all sorts of other stuff.
And we got
you can check it out on the Patreon.
Yeah, check it out on the Patreon. It's great.
So that's about it. We will see y'all next week. Oh, look forward to our upcoming Twitch streams as well.
Yes, we haven't figured. We're going to do a shmup day.
Some Saturday this month, probably.
Yes, we
Announcement forthcoming.
All of that social media I just talked about, it's going to be on all that.
Yeah, but like you said, it's going to be a night of shmups. A big night of shmuppery.
Shmuppery?
We're going to shmup it up.
Oh, no. How many puns will we make?
You know what they say, once you shmup, you can't stop.
Nah, that wasn't as good.
It didn't work as well.
Okay.
I'll come up with better ones for the stream.
So we're done. We're done. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening, and remember,
don't copy that floppy.